The cocktail hour is almost upon us. So, a lot got said. I'm not going to try to repeat it all. But I do appreciate all that people brought because I found it incredibly inspiring. And I do believe that the first job of the activists is to be inspiring. So we hear all this bad news, right? Climate change is coming. A wave of automation that could throw 30 to 50% of us out of work. All of these things that point to a dystopian future. It's all so scary. But the job of the activists is to actually look for the silver lining, to push forward regardless, even if we have to make the road by walking, right? Because our job is to inspire people. So I'm going to talk about silver linings that you all kind of pointed to. But first I want to say, that I think what we're looking at here is a situation in which we're really not ready for this future, in part because for decades we have been making public policy on the basis of nostalgia, right? People are now rejecting that backward-looking way of making public policy and are starting to reject the kinds of institutions through which that kind of policy has been made, right? There's an opinion piece in the New York Times right now, David Adler, where he looks at liberal democracies around the world, a big sample of them, and arrives at the conclusion that the group least supportive of democracy and civil rights are centrists, right? Lots of people are surprised by that, but is it really surprising, right? It's not surprising at all. When you think about our own history, for example, right? We had a civil rights movement. Up until that time, most white Southerners were Democrats. They believed in and wanted their unions. They had public benefits programs that they believed in and they wanted. All of a sudden, the door was open to others, and they decided they would give it away instead of sharing it. And they have continued to do that. And we see that happening all over the world now in places like Holland and Poland and Hungary and Great Britain. We see this happening, right? One of the legacies of colonialism is that nation states and ethnicities go together, and as the world opens up and globalization opens the door to migration from all over the world to these core industrial nations, we see people saying, well, if we have to share this, we're going to give it away, right? The thing is, though, that phenomenon that we are witnessing is an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity because the people on the edges, who, however we may define democracy, right and left, are actually wanting something quite different. And that rejection of the center opens the door for us to walk through into the future. So we heard from a bunch of people who are conjuring up visions of that future, right? All of these little experiments in democracy, in economic development, and community building, these things that we are witnessing now, that people talked about, these are all centers of hope and opportunity. What we need to do is take those centers of hope and opportunity and bring them together, right? Make the whole greater than the sum of its parts by framing it within the context of our values and beliefs and real ideas about how to move forward. That's what this project is attempting to do, and why I love it so much. So I want you to ruminate on that and think about that and hold on to that, right? Because the future in front of us is one that may be full of peril, but for every bit of danger we face, there is also opportunity. We live in a time, right here in the United States, where something is happening that no nation on earth has ever survived. The core group, the ethnicity upon which this nation was founded, is losing the majority, right? When that happens, typically nations fail. So we have no templates to look forward to, look back to. But what we do have are prophets, and we just heard from some of them, and that's what we need, right? We're really good at criticism. I'm really good at criticism. I criticize everything. But we are in a time when we need prophets. We need to start to reach for the future boldly and recognize that we can't rely on templates of the past, but we have to invent the future that we want. So, are we ready to do that? Yes? Okay. So I want to thank everybody who spoke and Kathy for this opportunity and remind you should read that.